Yeah, man, it's coming down to the final two or three teams for Malik Hooker. And one of the teams is not the Indianapolis Colts. Now, we're not surprised by this at all because we know Malik Hooker wanted to move on. He went about it on his Instagram. If you haven't seen it, check out his story. It should be still posted. But he does post a lot, so it might disappear. But he did mention that he wanted to experience something new. So he said he enjoyed his time in Indianapolis. So the Colts and Malik Hooker did agree to not bring him back. So we wasn't surprised by this at all anyway because we knew he was going to come back. But the sky is still the limit for Malik Hooker. He still has potential to be that safety that can be a good asset to any team he lands on. Now I know the Dallas Cowboys are probably out of the position of going to go get him because they did meet and they didn't end with the deal. So you can pretty much throw Dallas out the window. The Carolina Panthers was another team that were rumored to acquire Malik Hooker. Another team that was acquired to go get him was the Pittsburgh Steelers, in which I talked about before. And another team that might be shocking that went to go acquire Malik Hooker is the Miami Dolphins. Now, those are two good teams that could, go for Malik Hooker that could really be valuable for him. Those two teams are definitely good landing spots. And you look at a team like the Pittsburgh Steelers who have a good safety core, but they can move someone around and put them in a box. Those teams could definitely use him as a valuable asset going into next season. Now, of course, the Steelers did lose a lot of talent in the offseason, but I think acquiring Malik Hooker would definitely boost them back up to where they were. And I think they can do fine without Bud Dupree. So I think the Steelers could use another guy like Malik Hooker that can make that defense pretty much another level up than what they are already. The Carolina Panthers could definitely use him. They can move their guy Jeremy Chin back to his regular spot. Malik Hooker can come in and pretty much be a good quality asset for that team. I think that's another good team. Miami Dolphins as well is a good team. They lost a few pieces, but their secondary is already good. Adding Hooker will not make them lose anything at all, so that'd be a good addition for him as well. All the teams Hooker met with could definitely be a good spot for wherever he lands. It's just as simple as that. Like the Dallas Cowboys could definitely use him, but they already acquired other targets in the offseason that pretty much had the same injury as Malik Hooker, which was kind of weird because if it was up to me, I would have took Hooker. But it's fine. So yeah, he's still out there, but the rumor is that he's supposed to be having a deal done soon. So we will hear what the deal's going to be. Maybe it might be tomorrow. Maybe it might be when this video uploads. But you guys will hear from me when it does drop. Another guy that can be potentially on the move is Stephon Gilmore from the New England Patriots. Man, would you guys imagine? Can you imagine Stephon Gilmore in Indianapolis? Like if we were able to pull it off. And look, I know it's not happening, right? But if we was able to pull it off, that would probably be the certified spot for what we need. We do need another corner, right? But we got Promise Intel and Isaiah Rodgers. But some people are still sold on Rock Ya-Sin, but I think Gilmore boosts that cornerback room. He really does. Like if he walks in, we know who the number one corner is. Hands down, it's Stephon Gilmore. Adding him would just be the last piece to the puzzle. He's one of the best corners still in the NFL. He didn't show up to camp, and some people say his contract issues, yada yada yada. He doesn't want to be there no more. I think Bill Belichick knows it too. I think there was an interview where they talked about Gilmore, and he's pretty much sold on moving on. So I think Gilmore is the guy that's going to be pretty much out the door for New England. And if we are able to get him, that would be a steal. And we know he's not going for a first round pick. Yada, we know that, so don't even bring it up. But if he was available, I think that will push us up. Push us up in the rankings, NFL roster talks, predictions to make the playoffs, the predictions doing the AFC South. Like, what would be another good pickup other than Julio going to Tennessee? That would be a perfect pickup for us to match that offer of what they just did. I think he would be a nice fit in Indianapolis. But I mean, hey, it is what it is at the end of the day. Just bringing it up because that was another rumor after this whole Hooker situation. That was another rumor I seen swirling around the internet. So I was like, I would definitely be open to doing that. But hey, It is what it is, right? But those two out of the three teams are definitely the teams that are going to be in a run for Malik Hooker. My thoughts would probably be Pittsburgh if it's anybody else. Like I said, he did meet with them, and it was a good meeting when they met. So I think Malik Hooker might end up in Pittsburgh, and I'm definitely scared to see if that happens because that'll be a nice spot for him. Another team that that could go for him that you would think, I mean, like he can pretty much fit in any team. He can literally fit in any team, and he'll be a good solid piece. That's how good Malik Hooker can be. That's his ceiling. That's how good he can be. Um, but yeah, like the Washington football team, he can pretty much be a solid backup there. He can be a solid backup in Washington. They got a bunch of Alabama guys. Chicago can be a good spot for Malik Hooker. I think he can do well in Chicago. They got a nice safety duo, but I think for like depth wise, if he wanted to go there for a contender, he can land there. Like I said, the Dolphins already could be a good spot. Pittsburgh could be a good spot. I mean, I wish he would have stayed in Indy for depth wise, but he wants something new. I think he'll get more playing time elsewhere, so I respect that. Trying to think of other teams that could use a good depth guy. Like if the Bills wanted to be, like some type of, more of a threat, if they would get him off the bench, that'd be a scary sight. That would be a scary sight. Another team that could use him is the Giants. The Giants, if you think about them, their safety core, I think he'll get a lot of burn in New York. Definitely. And I think he'll be nice there in New York. Like if you could try to think of a team, like maybe if the Titans would try to steal him, like maybe think about that. Or the Eagles. The Eagles could use him as well. I mean, the Eagles could definitely use him. Try to find a division that won't be as much of a threat but he can like prosper. You try to find teams where he can prosper. But the only team I'm really thinking about is Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is the only team that I can think of that he can really prosper and be used as a safety. Because every team has their safety core is pretty much locked up, but they're not like certified or guaranteed, They drafted a safety or pretty much had safeties that they already had previously, but they're pretty much using them as a plug-in. The Vikings, they pretty much have theirs set at the moment, but I can see him landing there. I'm trying to figure out like teams that can use him, but for contract purposes as well. So like where he can get the most money, but where he can be the most productive as well. And the only team I can see is Pittsburgh. That's about it. So you guys let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Where do you think Malik Hooker is going to end up? What are your thoughts about Malik Hooker? And would you be nervous if he landed in another team in the AFC South, like the Houston Texans? The Houston Texans could use Malik Hooker. Like, they got Reed and everything, but if Hooker will land there and he gets paid, now I know it's a terrible organization probably, but let's be honest. If he lands there, that would probably be a scary sight. But you guys let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. You guys check out the links in the description, please. Please do so. I'm definitely on other content sites and sources that has not just Culture Shock. It'll do me a huge favor. But let me know your whole thoughts in the comment section. This is Marcus, and until next time, you've been Culture Shock.